Well, I think there's a bit of, keep your feet on the ground with me, and I think that the object of the exercise is to make sure we try and get better than last season if we can. Make sure we try and achieve a bit more if we can. So we achieved 46 points last year, so I think if we got 50, it's been a great season. So that would be probably our target to start with, and then I think that we would break that down and try and see how we're going to get those 50 points. And of course, from our point of view, we won't really know how tough it's going to be until the end of the window. There's a lot of spending going on again. I think that I think perhaps thought there wouldn't be quite as much spending this year because of the new restrictions, but there seems to have been a lot. And when we get to the end of that transfer window, and I sit down with the coaching staff and the technical staff and the sports science staff, and we look at everybody's squad, and we look at what everybody's bought and got rid of, and we'll say to ourselves, does it look more difficult this year than last year? Have people bought better players? Will there be bigger competition? And then look what we have done, what business we've done, and then calculate it from there.
And some business this week as well, Stuart Downing coming in. You're renowned for your use of stats and analysis and things like that. Did you pay particular attention to what those two, Andy Carroll and Stuart Downing, had done before? Was that a big part of your thinking in getting him in?
I think that I was more Stuart Downing in Aston Villa than I was Stuart Downing in Liverpool. And I think that Stuart Downing in Aston Villa was some more what I'm looking for than perhaps Stuart Downing in Liverpool. And there's no reflection on what Stuart did at Liverpool because he was asked to play a different way than he was at Aston Villa. So, as everybody knows, I love crosses. And as everybody else knows, there's lots of people that don't like crosses anymore, managers. So I think that from my point of view, Stuart, Andy, Matt Jarvis, Joe Cole, Baz Tay, people like that, Kevin Nolan, Modibo Maiga, Andy Carroll, are all going to be our most offensive type players, and we're all looking for them to provide and score goals this season collectively. It's great competition for places. Everybody's on the toes on the front line now because is it me going to be left out? Is it me? Is it me? Is it me? You know what I mean? So that brings that a little bit better, a bit more of an edge, hopefully. And like I say, starting the season as well as we did last year would be fantastic for us. But Stuart, in the addition of the quality of player, value for money for me, and somebody that sits at the top of our performance stats, which is also very important, as well as a nice guy.
And what on Cardiff? I think you opened the season against them a couple of years ago, then you?
Yeah, lost last minute 1-0 on a Sunday, if I remember right. And I think that this time round, Malky's gone and bought out and invested in his team, and they'll come with all guns blazing. I think that like every other team that gets promoted, certainly who wins the league, the enthusiasm carries over into the early part of the Premier League season. Sometimes it then catches up with them, and I think that certainly from Malky's point of view, with the additions he got, I think it's going to be a really tough game. So complacency is not what we're after. I think the perception outside of Cardiff is that, and West Ham fans, is that we're going to win easy. We're going to turn up on Saturday and win easy. My message to the lads is there's no easy game in the Premier League, and if we don't hit the ground running and hit our top form, this will be a very difficult game for us. And the last thing you want is to start your season playing at home and losing. That's the last thing you want, because then you've got to go away to Newcastle, away from home, and then try and... So straight away pressure would come on you to get points, and you don't really want that. So Saturday's the most important game of the season, obviously.
considering Cardiff's position, they won the championship quite comfortably. And what Southampton did last year, do you think the unknown quality could work in their benefit?
Well, Southampton in the beginning looked like they were going to be, and almost everybody guaranteed that they were going to be relegated up to around Christmas, like, so, they were all cast aside as if there's not much chance of these getting out of that. We kept losing. I think I remember we played them pretty early on here. We ended up winning 4-1, I think it was. And they found it difficult to get a result. But Nigel, in the end, got them through that period. And I suppose the one thing, if you've never played in the Premier League before, to a certain degree, the excitement and the enthusiasm and the determination you show can stand you in good stead. But realistically, you've got to have your manager organising your team and your tactics right, because otherwise you end up getting found out, and I think that, Malky's, for me, got Cardiff from the day he went in to be organised and structured, and every player seems to know their responsibility in the position that they play, so that organisation, as well as the investment he's made, he'll be hoping or stand him in good stead. They'll be difficult to beat, I think. They'll be difficult to break down, and they've got some, experienced players, particularly, as we know, Whittingham and Bellamy and people like that who have played in the Premier League that we will have to watch out for. And then Coker, who they signed from Tottenham, and so it's it'll be a tough game, but he will come and he'll find out about his team in the first 4 or 5 games. Hopefully he'll be disappointed when he goes home on Saturday.